The year 1914 dawned like any other, yet beneath the surface of normalcy, tensions simmered. Europe, a tapestry of alliances and rivalries, stood on the precipice of disaster. A spark, it would soon be revealed, was all that was needed to ignite the inferno of the Great War. That spark came on June 28, 1914, in the form of an assassin's bullet. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, was gunned down in Sarajevo, igniting a diplomatic firestorm that rapidly engulfed Europe. Austria-Hungary, with German backing, issued an ultimatum to Serbia, holding the nation responsible for the assassination. The ultimatum's terms were deliberately harsh, designed to provoke a response. Russia, bound by treaty and kinship to Serbia, mobilized its forces in support of its Slavic brethren. Germany, viewing Russian mobilization as a threat, declared war on Russia on August 1, 1914. With Germany's declaration, the intricate web of alliances snapped into action, dragging nation after nation into the abyss. Great Britain, bound to defend Belgian neutrality, declared war on Germany on August 4. France, entangled in a web of mutual defense pacts, followed suit. The Ottoman Empire, seeking to reclaim lost glory, joined the Central Powers. Italy, initially hesitant, ultimately sided with the Allies. The world watched in horror as the lights of Europe flickered and dimmed, consumed by the encroaching darkness of total war. What began as a localized Balkan crisis had exploded into a global conflagration. The great powers, armed with industrialized arsenals and fueled by nationalistic fervor, were locked in a struggle that would redefine the very meaning of war. Millions of men marched off to battle, their heads filled with dreams of glory and a swift victory. None could have foreseen the years of brutal trench warfare, the unprecedented casualties, or the profound social and political upheavals that lay ahead. The world had entered a new and terrible chapter, and nothing would ever be the same. The Eastern Front, stretching from the Baltic Sea in the north to the Black Sea in the south, became a theater of immense scale and brutality. Here the vast plains and dense forests of Eastern Europe echoed with the roar of artillery and the clash of millions of men. Russia, with its massive army, initially posed a formidable challenge to the Central Powers. However, Russia's early advances were soon blunted by a combination of logistical nightmares and German military prowess. The Battle of Tannenberg in August 1914, a masterpiece of German strategy and execution, dealt a crushing blow to Russian forces, shattering the myth of their invincibility. Despite setbacks, the Russian bear proved a tenacious foe. Its soldiers, though often ill-equipped and poorly led, fought with a ferocity born of desperation and patriotism. One of the most notable Russian offensives came in 1916, under the leadership of General Alexei Brusilov. The Brusilov offensive, a carefully planned and executed series of attacks, shattered Austro-Hungarian lines and inflicted heavy casualties. However, the offensive's success was short-lived. German reinforcements and Russia's own logistical weaknesses prevented them from capitalizing on their gains. The Eastern Front devolved into a grinding war of attrition, where victories were measured in yards and casualties mounted to staggering figures. Russian soldiers, lacking adequate food, clothing, and ammunition, endured unimaginable hardships. The Tsarist regime, already teetering on the brink, found itself increasingly unable to cope with the demands of total war. The year 1917 dawned bleakly for Russia. The war, now in its fourth year, had drained the nation's resources and shattered its morale. The Tsarist regime, under Nicholas II, clung precariously to power, its authority eroded by military failures and a collapsing economy. Food shortages plagued the cities and discontent festered among the war-weary populace. In February 1917, a series of strikes and demonstrations erupted in Petrograd, formerly St. Petersburg, sparked by bread shortages and deteriorating living conditions. The protests, fueled by years of pent-up anger and frustration, quickly spiraled into a full-blown revolution. The Tsar, isolated at the front and out of touch with the realities in the capital, was forced to abdicate, ending centuries of Romanov rule. A provisional government, composed of liberals and moderate socialists, attempted to fill the power vacuum, but it inherited a poisoned chalice. The war continued to rage, and the new government's efforts to appease both the war-weary populace and its allied commitments proved futile. The Bolsheviks, a radical socialist faction led by the charismatic Vladimir Lenin seized upon the chaos and discontent. Exploiting the government's weakness and promising peace, land and bread, the Bolsheviks launched a second revolution in October 1917. The Bolsheviks, with their promise of an end to the war and a redistribution of wealth, captured the imagination of the masses. Their seizure of power ushered in a new era for Russia, one marked by civil war, ideological struggle, and the rise of a new form of totalitarian state, the Soviet Union. Russia's involvement in the Great War came to an end in March 1918 with the signing of the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk. The treaty, a humiliating peace dictated by Germany, stripped Russia of vast territories and a third of its population. However, the Bolsheviks, now firmly in control, viewed the treaty as a necessary evil, a temporary measure to consolidate their power and rebuild their shattered nation. The echoes of the Great War reverberated throughout Russia long after the guns fell silent on the Western Front. The war had shattered the Tsarist regime, unleashed a wave of revolutionary fervor, and plunged the country into a bloody civil war. From the ashes of the old order emerged a new Russia, transformed by the crucible of war and revolution. The Bolsheviks, under Lenin's leadership, consolidated their power, crushing their opponents and establishing a one-party state. The Soviet Union, formally created in 1922, inherited a legacy of war, revolution, and profound social upheaval. The Great War had been a catalyst for change in Russia, but the ultimate direction of that change remained uncertain. The echoes of that conflict still resonate today, reminding us of the devastating costs of war and the enduring power of ideology and revolution. The Great War, a conflict that had promised so much and delivered so little, left an indelible mark on Russia, shaping its destiny for decades to come.